Hi, my name's Lewis. I'm 34 years old. I'm a gay lad from Somerset in the UK. I just really want to come on today to tell you my story of quite a dark place I was at a few years ago when I was in a domestic violent relationship. Like most, it started off amazing. Met him on a night out and we hit off straight away. We spent every day together really for the first few weeks, and it was the best thing ever. I fell in love with him and there was nothing he could do wrong in my eyes. We moved in together quite quickly, and I suppose after that it all started to change. Got a lot more controlling, but little things that I wasn't really realising. He was having access to my social media accounts, Facebook. He had my phone most of the time, which I didn't realise either. I'd go to work, it wouldn't be in my bag, he would have it. People would message me and it'd get deleted, but I wouldn't realise it was going on. And then that started getting more and more apparent, and then my friends were saying it, but I wasn't believing anything they were saying. So it caused us to have more friction with each other, so we argued a lot more. And then alcohol played a massive part of it as well. Whenever he got more drunk, he started having more goes at me. It started off really with verbal abuse, just having a go at me, saying I was fat and I was ugly and nobody would want me. I'd always be on my own, so if I ever thought about leaving him, then I'd just be lonely. And I think I believed him because I loved him, and I didn't think he would lie to me. I don't think, why would he say things like that if it wasn't true? So my confidence got knocked massively. And then I think it was probably about a year into it, he wanted to go out and I didn't want to go out, and he was like, oh, I'm going out. So we went out that night, and I remember him coming back and the door was locked and he was banging on the door. He'd lost his keys, so I let him in and he came in and then he spat at me, and that's probably the worst I felt, by being spat at. Like, it made you feel like you were nothing on the floor sort of thing, like people spit on the floor, and that's kind of what I thought I was, just a bit of dirt on the floor. And I didn't know why. He wouldn't tell me why I did it. He just went, I hate you, you're disgusting. And then the next morning he woke up like nothing had happened, and it was all nice and normal and it was fine. And then we went out a few more times after that, just for evenings out and stuff, and he would just get more argumentative with me and more angry at me, and if I didn't want to do something he wouldn't let me do it. And then he probably threw his first punch about a year and a half into the relationship. He just, it would hit me, push me, and he wouldn't do it just at home. He'd do it in car parks when we were walking home. One night, probably one of the worst things he did to me, he got a hubcap from a car and used it as a frisbee and threw it at the back of my head. And I just knocked myself to the floor, blood all at the back of me, and he ran off, left me in the street. Someone came and got me in the end, it was fine. Got back to my flat, wouldn't let me in, he'd lock me out, so I slept outside that night. And the next day I went home, when he let me back in, again oblivious like nothing had happened. Said it was my fault, I made him do it, I made him flip out on me. I went into work, lied and said that I hit a shelf on the back of my head, and I had a massive chunk out of my head. Still got a scar now actually on the back of it because of it. And it just continued like that. It was constant. I'd come home and he would go at me for no reason, and again it was all the things that I was insecure about, like my weight. I didn't think I was attractive at all. I didn't have any confidence, and he would make sure that that was the things he had to talk to me about. I was always being told I was fat and I was disgusting, and that people wouldn't even look at me if I didn't have him, and he made me a better person and all that sort of stuff. I got ill while I was in the relationship. My appendix actually burst. However, the hospital didn't realise, so they sent me home, and then a day later I was in intensive care for a week, and I was kind of 20% chance of survival. And I thought that might have, I'm not saying because I was ill it should have changed him, but he nearly lost me, and I thought maybe he would have changed and maybe he might have been a better person. And it took me about 5 or 6 months to get over the illness. I couldn't eat for ages, I couldn't walk either, so I was in hospital for about a month, 2 months of it. Came back to here, Somerset, to get better. I went back up thinking he might have missed me, and the first night we had out, I couldn't drink still. He punched me, I got a scar that's about that big here, and I got a big lump there, and he punched me there and kicked me to the floor. and I still stayed with him. I don't know why. I didn't feel like, especially the way I was, because I had no confidence, I was ill and I'd not been very well. I didn't think I'd get anyone ever, and he would constantly tell me. Every time I said I'm going to phone the police, he would hit himself, throw things at himself and say that I did it, because people would believe him over me, because he was a smaller person. So I could never go to the police on it, because they would believe him. And then something clicked one night, and I just didn't want to be with him anymore, and I was like, I don't need to be with him. And I kind of went home and told him, and that was a night he got the golf club, and he got the golf club and smacked me in the head about 3 or 4 times, and just left me on the floor. And then it's not done any damage to me, but I had to get out then. I couldn't stay any longer. He would have, if I stayed any longer, he would have killed me that night. And so I left that night. That same night, I got a message from him. He trashed the flat. He smashed everything that I owned up. All my computer, my TV. I like Mickey Mouse. He cut all the heads off my Mickey Mouse. He cut up all my United tops. And then he took a video of him taking an overdose, and then said that I did that to him. So I went back because I was worried about him, because no matter what someone does to you, you can't stop loving someone. So I didn't stop loving him, I couldn't be with him, and I just wanted to make sure he was alright. And then he was in hospital for a while to get him better, because he needed help. And I thought, maybe I can help him, I can make him get better, I can spend time with him, I can go counselling with him. So I didn't take him back, but I wanted to get him better. And I went to counselling sessions with him. And then he wanted to get with me, and I was like, no, I can't. And he started again, he started being violent, and this was just being friends. So I made the decision to leave Manchester and sort of come home. I was getting made redundant at the time, but I don't need to be in this sort of environment. I need to get myself away from it. And it was just weird that I went to the police. They didn't laugh at it, but they just didn't take it as serious as, I don't want to say it the wrong way, but if it was in a straight heterosexual relationship, it's taken in a very different way. Whereas if it was 2 guys, they just thought we were having a scrap, and I was like, that isn't the case. Like they even visited the house, and they seen the damage he did to our flat and what was smashed up, and I was like, this isn't normal behaviour. But they were like, oh, it's just 2 guys having a fight. And I'm like, it's not. And it wasn't till I used to work for co-op, and I went to them, and they helped me. They reported it. They went to the police, and they helped me get through it all. Like my work colleagues, and they were the supportive ones, and then all my friends were as well. And that's when then all my friends realised what had been going on. And if anybody is going through it, or anybody has gone through it, or they are kind of trying to get out of it, I felt ashamed. I felt like I was a weak person because I let someone do that to me. That was my mistake. Like if I'd have, the strong person is the person that stands up to him and walks away. I was a weak person because I stayed in that relationship and let it happen. Like I couldn't get out of it because I didn't know how to. And even when my friends kind of knew, they were just upset I couldn't tell them. And your friends, you know who your friends are, and if you've got that sort of close knit around you, and you've got your friends and family around you, just talk to them, because they will help you. They will show you that they can get you out of that situation. Even like my work were fantastic. They gave me time off. They gave me what I needed. So don't think you're alone. You're not. In my mind, I was alone, because I just thought no one else goes through this, no one else will be like this, and I'm not I'm not a small lad, I should be able to look after myself, and that's what I kept thinking. How am I letting someone like that do this to me? But it was the emotional side of it that then let the physical side happen, because he emotionally scarred me and made me feel like I was nothing. The violence just was on top of that, and then the spitting was the worst thing. But now, I'm like never been happier. I'm getting engaged next July. And yeah, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It just takes a while to find it. I found it, and you can hopefully too. And that's my story. Thank you.